Hey there, and welcome back to the Dirt Bike Dave show. Um, Today we're going to talk about Anaheim 1, the 2023 Supercross season, and this will be my first power ranking video for it. So we'll get right into it. For me, I have undeniably, Eli Tomac right off the bat. I think he's just going to go in from what he did last year. Even though it's a new bike, I don't see there being any kind of problems with that and any kind of changes. And I think he's on par to be one of the better all-time riders. And we'll see that this being supposedly his final season, he'll be super motivated. And he's only a Supercross only, and we'll see what he does after that. But for right now, I have him position number one as far as power rankings. Doesn't mean my picks for the race. I'm just doing this as who I feel has, the power, if you will, in a scale from high to low. Number 2, Chase Sexton. I almost put him in number 1. I really feel he's the guy. He always had the speed, and as Mitch Payton once said, you can work with speed. You could take somebody who's fast and teach them consistency, but you can't always take someone who has almost the level, not quite the top speed, and teach that to them. It's harder. So I think Sexton's coming in with a lot of momentum from the off season and a lot of momentum from the Outdoor Nationals, where he was right on Tomac's tail the whole time. And he always was pretty dang good in Supercross. People kind of forget he did win the 250s. So I think he's tamed down the crashes, and we'll see a whole lot out of him this year. So I have him in the number 2 spot. Number 3 is Anderson. Anderson is my kind of almost a wild card, hard to pick. I think he could take the series easily. If he gets on a roll and he gets some momentum, if he can beat Tomac and kind of get in his head, I think that he could roll forward and knock off a whole bunch of wins. He got 7 last year. He split with Eli on that in the Supercross. And he seems to be gelling with that Kawasaki really well. So I have him in 3rd. I kind of think as the season goes out, that may change, but we have him in 3rd right now. Number 4, Ken Roczen. I think Ken Roczen has a chip on his shoulder from the Honda situation. I think he's always been comfortable on the Suzuki. I've made another video before about the Suzuki itself. It's totally a capable bike. The people that are writing it off, the other media guys out here on YouTube and just in motocross and supercross media in general, you've got some people that think that it can't be done, and then you've got the camp that I fall in that thinks that this is an infusion for him of new bikes, new team, starting over, chip on his shoulder. I believe that he'll get I think he'll get at least 1 win. I'm hoping for multiple, and I'm sure he'll be having multiple podiums. I didn't put him like in the top 3 because I feel like you do have a history, if you go back the past couple years, of him not being able to even finish the whole Supercross season. So that'd be a big plus. If he can even get through and take some of these 3rd, 4th, 5th, if he'll settle for some of them and just get through the season, I think he'll find himself being happier overall with a new scenario, a lighter team, a little bit more control, getting the things that he wants. Larry Brooks on the team manager, Dave Cruz on the suspension. I mean, they got good people in place, but they are starting a whole new team. So there's that. For number 5, I have Malcolm Stewart. I think he had a lot of momentum last year on a bike that really wasn't that great for the whoops. A lot of people were saying the frame and the chassis was a problem for the whole KTM Husky line of bikes. But he seemed to manage it. He did a little bit better than everybody else. So I think he has a lot of momentum. I think this year he gets that win. And I have him in fourth, fifth area most of the time. And by season ends, I think he's like around that, 4 or 5. Number 6 is Barsha. I dropped him just a little bit down. I think even at the end of the season, he may be in that 6-7 range. I feel he's just a little bit less than he's been in the past. And I think that people have had it with his takeout moves. So I feel there's a little bit of... I feel like this year coming around, one that he realizes it. I think he realizes now that he does have that reputation, and I'm not sure that he necessarily... He'll tell you that he comes on and sometimes says he embraces it, but I think he's got a target on his back if he starts that crap early this season. And then I think deeper field members will just take him out like he takes them out. And I don't feel like he wants to get into that a whole season long of that and ruin and jeopardize his chances in a contract year. So I have Barsha at 6. At 7, I have Marvin Muskin. I put him at 7 because of his experience. The old guys, being an old guy myself, I think that his racecraft and the people that kind of wrote him off last year, he had a win, remember? And he had a couple of podiums, or thirds or fourths anyways. So I just believe doing this so many years over and over and over, look out for Marvin. I have Marvin ranked at 7. At 8, I have Webb. I just think last year kind of showed us something that he didn't gel with the bike, and I don't see this year changing a whole lot. He didn't even finish the season out. He took off. He was complaining of burnout and multiple other things, and just that edge. I just don't see him having that competitive edge staying here with the KTM. Now, if he changes, that may be a different thing, but he's riding out this. He has a 1-year contract. He's riding it out. I think he's just putting in the laps, and he falls where he falls. I think he can be as high as 3rd, 4th area, but you may see some 8, 9s too. So for my power ranking, I have Webb at 8. At 9, this one is controversial, but I think I have history on my side on this one. I have Craig. I have Christian Craig at 9. And why I say that history-wise is no one comes up into the 450s with this group and this level of competition and makes it through all the rounds. And, does he pull off a win? He may even pull off a win. Anaheim especially is like one of those places where you just never know when anyone can just pull a win out because it's the beginning of the season and people haven't gotten into their groove. But overall, when all is said and done, I think he wrecks out a couple times. He's proven that in the past. He's had some horrible crashes, and he has some whoop speed, but he's dealing with that bike that supposedly, maybe they've been working. They have been working on it, but we'll see how he gels with it overall throughout a series. I have him in 9 for the power rankings, and also kind of a 10th at 10. Another kind of controversial pick, I guess you would say, because I'm leaving Ferrandis out of the top 10. And I'm leaving Cianciarillo out of the top 10. But for my power rankings for this first week, and we'll see how it goes, I'm putting Dean Wilson at number 10. A new team, the Team Honda. Phoenix Honda is actually, they've been around, so they got good product. They have Hondas. They have support. I've seen video, he's put out his own video of how he's riding. Last year, he didn't do so bad. He kind of was in this area in 8, 9, 10. fighting 10s, 11s, but then he had that crash where he tore open his buttocks pretty bad. So I think he's kind of come back from that. But I think the change is going to infuse him with a little bit of motivation. It's getting down to his twilight years in his career too. And I have him at 10. I think he's going to, have that veteran racecraft that will get him up in those positions. So, like I said, I left Ferrandis off of here. My thoughts are, right now, I don't believe he has the racecraft. I don't think it translated over from the 250s. I think he looks a little awkward on the 450, and we'll just see. But I don't have him on the list. And then for Cian Cirillo, this one saddens me to not have him in the top 10. He's one of my favorite riders. But we just heard some stuff. Some of the people that we know in the industry have said it. He's had multiple shoulder surgeries, but last year had 2 surgeries for a nerve that runs. He moved the nerve that goes down his hand from an area here in his elbow. So they moved it a little bit to try and help get more flow and get it away from the elbow area where it was being problematic. But he still has his hand and his wrist are still going numb even after 2 surgeries. So that didn't fix the problem for him. And from scuttlebutt, from what we've heard, when he's doing the laps, there's times when he's 2 seconds down on Anderson, and I think he's just kind of bought into it now. It's contract. I believe his contract's up. If not, he's definitely not shown anything in the past couple of years because he hasn't been able to be out there. So I believe what's happening is he's just going to put in the laps. He will get good starts. He always does. It's a strong point for him. So he'll start out good in the beginning and fade back. But I believe instead of crashing out and calling it like last year, I believe that he feels he needs to build a base back. He's even done an interview with Pulp MX, with Steve Mathis over there, that his attitude was a little bit different this time. He wasn't as upbeat as he normally is. I think he's kind of resigned himself to the fact that he has to start over, build a base, and I don't call him a quitter. I don't think he's going to be out this season. I don't see that happening unless it's just where he can't ride. If it's a scenario where he's going to kill himself, he may choose to pull out. But I think he stays, and I think you see nights of good starts, good heat. He can last out a heat. I think those shorter races, but when a whole season comes and you're putting in the whole the 20 lap or 20 minutes, and you're going to put in those kind of laps, I think you're going to see tracks that'll favor him and then tracks that won't. Some of the longer ones I think will be less brutal on him than some of the tighter ones. But yeah, that's it. That's power rankings for week number 1 going into Anaheim 1 2023. So come back here and we'll keep on doing these power rankings once we get a feel from the first race, and we'll have more conversation. If you don't like or disagree with me, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you agree, do that too. Let's just have a conversation in the comments. So thank you, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.